So there you have it then, the hashtag Change for Her, a campaign to change the coat of arms. I guess it's one of those symbols. You're used to seeing it on every government building, you see it on official government documentation, and in fact it becomes an emblem of the state. It represents so much of the authority of the state. But like many, you probably have not paid quite close attention to what exactly is ingrained in that emblem. And we're going to talk about this campaign. Why the Change for Her campaign? How exactly did we get here? We're joined by Newzroom Afrika's news director, Katy Katopodis. Katy, good evening. A pleasure to have you on. It's one of those things we take for granted. How did it stand out and become something that you thought that the channel, and in fact many of the people that have been profiled, as part of the campaign would come on board?
Well, you know, Cathy, it's really such an exciting day for us. Hashtag Change for Her is something that started, it was just an idea that sparked off not long ago, by the way, around 10 days ago, 12 days ago, when I got a call from the managing partner of Razor, which is a part of Sachi and Sachi. And he said to me, this was Dustin Chick, who said, have you ever noticed the coat of arms? I said, well, of course I have. He said, no, have you actually looked at it properly? And it's such a good question because, as you rightly say, it's part of who we are, it's on our passports, it's on our birth certificates, it's everywhere. But once you really look at it, in the shield, Cathy, there are two men. There are two men in our coat of arms, and that's where this whole thing started. Where the question began, hang on a second, if we are so committed to gender equality, if we are really committed to an equal society, let's not just pay lip service to it. Let's not all just say what we need to do. Let's actually try and make a tangible difference. So today, Cathy, our appeal is, in an open letter to President Cyril Ramaphosa, is to say, Mr. President, will you hear us? Will you please take a look at the coat of arms? And let's replace one of the two men in the coat of arms with a woman.
What do you think the symbolism of that is going to mean for South Africa and for South African women?
Oh, Cathy, I think it's huge. I think we cannot for one moment downplay what it would mean. It's a symbol and it's small, but it's massive simultaneously. So yes, it would be changing a man to a woman in our coat of arms, but symbolically it would speak to where we're going as a country, where we want to be as a country. You know, the questions around gender-based violence, for example, the conversations we're having, Cathy, are harrowing. They are harrowing, they are deeply upsetting. And we do live in a society where so many questions are being asked about, are women equal to men? Well, let's see it very practically in something like a symbol. Let's move South Africa forward and change our coat of arms.
And on the screen now, we of course have just a couple of explainers that have been put up. And I wonder if we can go back to the motto of the coat of arms, which specifically speaks about how this is a symbol that is supposed to represent diversity and allow people in this country to unite. And therefore, it cannot be a symbol of that diversity if in fact it doesn't encapsulate both genders in this country.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
So the symbol of humanity, the symbol of diversity is about men and women. And some may argue that, well, it's two men, they represent mankind as such, but actually we need to take it just one step further. And that's our call today.
What does this campaign entail? So what are you going to be doing as part of this campaign?
So, Cathy, it's writing to President Cyril Ramaphosa, but also acknowledging that it doesn't just sit with him. So it is Minister Nathi Mthethwa as well. Did you know South Africa has a heralder? It's somebody called the State Herald, and this person also weighs in on issues like our national coat of arms. So it entails making our voices heard. As we saw in the video, it's not just about Newzroom Afrika, but it's about getting South Africans on board to support us. It's about getting South Africans wherever they are, not just women, by the way, but men as well, because it's not just a women's issue. It's an issue for and about South Africa. And it's about taking that next step, moving South Africa forward in something that's more meaningful.
Much of it, we touched earlier on just the fact that people don't notice the detail in the coat of arms. So I'm curious to know, for those that have come on board already that we saw in that clip, were they surprised when you pointed this out to them as part of the campaign and you were asking them to come on board? Were they aware even of the symbol? Had they paid close attention to it at all before?
So, Cathy, their reaction was much like mine, and I know much like yours.
Yeah.
So we know it's there. We go, oh, no, I know the coat of arms. Let me have a look. And then it's that penny drop moment when you look at it and you say, oh my goodness, you're absolutely right. So that's been the reaction. And it's also been an overwhelming level of support that we've received from everybody who we approached, who are like, absolutely, I'm on board and I'm backing this. And this is what we'd love to see from South Africans to come on board and help us in a way that is constructive. Because, you know, we see so much negativity and there's so much wrong, but we don't want to focus on that. We want to focus on what we can make right.
And how do people then show their support for this campaign?
So the hashtag Change for Her is something that we would love to see trending. We would also love to see people support on social media, on their social media platforms. And then there is a page that people can go onto to literally sign their name and say, Mr. President, I too support this. So you can count on me, you can count on my support. And let's see if we can get this going, you know. And hopefully it won't just be a campaign in South Africa. But imagine if we get this right, Cathy. Imagine if we move South Africa to the point where we have real representativity in something as meaningful as our symbols.
Any indication yet of when this letter is going to land in the president's inbox and how soon we're going to hear back from them? So in terms of the actual rollout of the campaign, how long are you anticipating it may take?
So we are not seeing this as a flash in a pan type of campaign, Women's Day, 9th of August. We want this to have longevity because it's meaningful to us and it's not a marketing ploy, but something that we see as extremely important for our country. So as long as it takes, actually. As long as it takes, how long it'll take for the president, who I can only assume is watching us now.
All right. Well, in it for the long haul. Katy Katopodis is Newzroom Afrika's news director. And